In this exclusive video with Matt from the Martinsburg Shop Complex, we'll get a better understanding of the past, present, and hopeful future of the B&O Martinsburg site. Hi, I'm Trevor from History on the Move, and I have here with me Matt from the Martinsburg Roundhouse. Matt, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So tell me about the location. Where are we at today?
You are at the Martinsburg Roundhouse, commonly referred to as the Martinsburg Roundhouse here in the community, but the formal title is actually the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Martinsburg Shops, National Historic Landmark, the West Virginia 16th National Historic Landmark.
Wow. And tell me a little bit about the structures in which we will be walking through today.
You're standing in the West Roundhouse, built in 1866. It's a cast iron frame roundhouse. It's fully enclosed. There's 112 windows in the dome. It's considered to be the oldest fully enclosed roundhouse in the United States.
And as we were walking through, we saw the East Roundhouse, sadly now bricks. Give me a little quick history on that.
Yeah, built in 1872. It was sadly burned by a couple young people who set fire to some pallets, some wood pallets in 1990, and it burned to the ground. The firefighters were able to basically keep the fire within that structure and keep it from spreading north in throughout the rest of the property. So it sits as ruins today, but there was plans for an amphitheater.
Tell me a bit more about the amphitheater.
Yeah, we have renderings and designs already completed, and we hope to basically establish an amphitheater within the ruins, preserving some of the ruins.
Kind of like Red Rocks.
Right, exactly. And within the existing ruins of the property, and make it a community space for Martinsburg.
Oh, fantastic. And as compare and contrast, just very briefly, with the Mount Clair / Baltimore Roundhouse.
Yeah, we get visitors, our tours, that we offer on Saturdays here as part of the farmers market we have on Saturdays. We have visitors come all the time. They come up and they said, we've been to the Baltimore Roundhouse. We love that. We just wanted to come up. This is just so awesome that another roundhouse is here, not too far away. They always talk about the similarities, and our architect visited just today and was talking about how cool it was to see the structures and how the differences and everything, but the similarities as well.
Well, since we'll be here for a little bit, let's go take a look.
Very good.
All right, Matt, let's check out one of these beams here.
Yeah, this is a cast iron beam that is used in the construction of our building. And basically, these beams were manufactured in Baltimore. Ooh. And they were assembled in Baltimore originally. Each beam was numbered, and then they were taken back apart and then put on the train cars and rolled up here to Martinsburg and reassembled by number. So they're really cool, and yeah, they're really awesome, but they're also fragile because they are cast iron. So
versus wrought iron, which is what the 1884 Mount Clair Roundhouse.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
And so we have to be very mindful of the older manufacturing style, and very careful with how we take care of this part of the building. It's very special, but it's also very fragile.
And what do you do, speaking of maintenance, to maintain the beams?
We do assessment of the beams to make sure structurally they're sound, and make sure that the property overall structure is safe. That's the primary concern with any historic property. But the cast iron framework is very special, and obviously not used anymore because most buildings these days are steel. And so this is a very rare thing to find in the world today.
And do these sit, it looks like they're into the floor, do they sit on something? Is there a footing underneath that these sit on?
Honestly, that's getting into a little bit deeper into the familiarity, but as far as I understand, it's a concrete floor. Okay. And in the base, there is a base for each one of these beams that come down to the floor. Okay. There is a concrete platform that they're planted in.
Wow, amazing. And they go straight up through, it looks like a series of other beams to make up each different level. Is that right?
That's correct. And what I really think is special is the webbing that goes up against the roof of each of the archway framing. I see that. The framing around. I think that's really what really makes it set off as far as a style of architecture that obviously predates steel, and how they did that and replicated that all the way around the structure here, and it really sets it off and gives it a lot of character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and obviously it's a 16-sided building, and so everything is, people think it's a roundhouse, as you probably are very familiar.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not really round.
Right.
But it also does mathematically, there's a lot of math, with the beams as far as they come down. And if you look at, you can count, the spaces are all equidistant, and the framework is equal to like how the walls are, the walls and the beams are kind of aligned in a way. If you look at it kind of close, you can kind of see that the walls line up with the framework.
Oh, I do see.
A little bit. It's a little off here and there, but it does line up. A lot of them do line up with the walls.
Right there, yeah.
It's a really interesting, and I think even if you don't appreciate history of railroads, you appreciate architecture, and it's really special in that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very reminiscent if people were to go down to Baltimore, and see the 1884 roundhouse, minus, I think, compare contrast.
Right.
That roundhouse has another set of windows at the very
which
top.
is awesome. I love that part of the Baltimore, the double layer.
You can thank E. Francis Baldwin.
right. And we're working on refurbishing our windows. Actually, we're in the process of doing that. There's 112 windows in our dome.
Wow.
Obviously, you guys got a few more.
A little bit more, yeah.
So, but we're refurbishing our windows right now, and otherwise we're in pretty good shape structurally as far as, but we are going to do a new assessment of our beams and make sure our structure is in good shape. If you recall, we had the Virginia earthquake in 2011, and that impacted a lot of historic structures. So it's something that we really need to do, and so we're going to work on doing that to get that taken care of. We believe it's in good shape. Everything seems okay, but you never can be too safe.
Better have engineers come in and look it over.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like any historic structure, those kinds of things are necessary. You have to be proactive as much as you can be.
Absolutely.
Try to prevent a disaster.
Yeah. You don't want February 03 coming back to haunt you again, right? Yeah, no.
Right. So we don't want that to happen here, and I've always been mindful of that.
Yeah.
Just that recent history. We don't want to have a catastrophe that happened to our special National Historic Landmark here. So we're working on trying to do more things that ensure the security and preservation of the structure.
Fantastic. Yeah. It's incredible to think that this used to service most of the trains that came out of Baltimore, right, heading west. And now we're looking at something totally different in the future. Tell me more about that.
The mile 99 100 stopping point for the B&O Railroad is now going to be a stopping point for arts in our community, community gathering space. We have indoor and outdoor visions here. Obviously the amphitheater is the outdoor vision. We have an indoor vision with the Frog and Switch Shop, and obviously the West Roundhouse continuing to be a museum space as well, and then the other building as well, another indoor upstairs space in that building. So this is really going to be a center gathering space for the community, for arts, culture, heritage, history, obviously our rich, deep railroad history here, and reintroducing people who aren't familiar with railroads and the very strong and economic engine that they provided our community, and telling them those stories about our railroad here.
It's incredible, right? This used to be a huge hub,
right,
gathering, if you will, of locomotives, cars, engineers, firemen, conductors, but now it's going to be something even bigger, greater, but still bringing people together.
And we really hope to reconnect really a stronger relationship with the Baltimore family, the Roundhouse there, because the railroad is still active. We still have commuter line connections to the Baltimore, Washington community, and why not bring them out and expose them, introduce them to their sister out here in West Virginia, and entertain them with some arts and culture and obviously the heritage of the stories that happen here in the history of the railroad.
Absolutely. And shameless plug, as you remember, I came out here a few months ago with my furry friend, and I said to you, my God, this is incredible. I've seen not one, but now two B&O Roundhouses intact.
That's right.
It's incredible.
It is
absolutely
great.
Incredible.
It's great to have that heritage still here in the eastern United States. The B&O Railroad has a great history. Coming up on the 200th anniversary of the railroad. There's a lot to be celebrated with what the B&O did for the United States history of our country and economic development as a country, as a nation, and provided a lot of livelihood for a lot of people. And obviously we're rejuvenating here, and we want to reinvent and bring new life to these sites here at the Martinsburg shops.
Matt, thanks for bringing History on the Move out here. This is an incredible place. Tell us a little bit more to our viewers before we part ways.
We really appreciate History on the Move coming, and of course, anyone with any interest in the Martinsburg Roundhouse, check out our Facebook page, Martinsburg Roundhouse, Instagram. We're also there on that platform. Our website is roundhousewb.com. If you would like to make a donation, we have PayPal links as well on the website to our foundation. We appreciate any interest. Whether you just want to come out and visit the site, you're welcome on Saturdays from 10 to 2 during our farmers market through October. And thanks again for having us. We
Absolutely.
appreciate your interest.
Appreciate it. Thanks
Thank
again.
you.